Ladies and gentlemen, whether you like it or not.
Ow!
Hedwig!
Don't you know me, Kansas City? I'm the new Berlin Wall. Try and tear me down.
Bienvenue.
Welcome to our 15-minute talk on Hedwig and the Angry Inch. Great rock musical. It's on HBO Max if you want to check it out. Watched it like in celebration for Pride Month, but also it's a great musical, so like watch it anytime. It's wonderful, wonderful stuff. The direction is great, I want to say. The way John Cameron Mitchell visualizes love. I'm gonna get a tattoo of that.
Honestly, I saw it and I was like, oh, I that's gonna be somewhere.
Especially for me because like I said, this movie influenced me a lot. It taught me how to listen to rock music. Mm-hmm. It taught me how to be a fan, first of all, because that scene where Hedwig is in the oven and they're going through the names, David Bowie, Iggy Pop.
And then there were the crypto, homo, rockers, Lou Reed, Iggy Pop.
I remember I didn't know any of their names. I didn't know those rock stars when I watched this movie the first time, but I knew seeing somebody love that music that much showed me, oh, I want to know those names, because if that music is getting this person through all this shit, I need their help too, you know? And those are like my true Avengers. Like if you make a movie of all these rock stars coming together, oh, thank you. Give me that. Marvel, get out of here.
Give me rock.
Yeah, rock and roll.
The rock Avengers.
And also just, you know, being able to sing along to the girl parts in music, like Hedwig mentioned, singing along to the just cool stuff, affirming stuff that I didn't know needed affirmation, teaching me how to be a fan. Really cool. What was the point I was making?
You're talking about Origin of Love and just...
the way he visualizes people coming together through that symbol, the tattoo, and also just that whole sequence with Tommy and Hedwig finally kissing, and you see how the way they are staged and the way the actors are blocked is choreographed. I love when they kiss and their bodies are framed and they become like that tattoo. And your heart soars when you see that, because you're rooting for Hedwig to find that person. And that's why when the kissing stops and then they're in the same frame but they're separate, great direction. It's so tragic. I felt that distance between them so much because of how much I was rooting for Hedwig to be with them. What do you think of it?
I absolutely loved it. Just, I feel the lessons that it's giving are so positive and so necessary, especially for the community. Yeah.
Just about love and acceptance.
Yeah. Like, it's okay.
Not only is it okay,
but you should do it.
I love that whole Origin of Love thing.
Yeah.
I had this idea for I'm wearing the Beatles, Jesus Christ, but she loves you, yeah. I had this idea of how it's almost one of the saddest songs ever written, because for someone to have to be told that she loves you and you should be glad, it's like, why does that message have to exist? It's because hate exists, and that people might interpret love as something that they wouldn't want. And you almost see that playing out through the Origin of Love thing, where the gods sort of say, I hate that all these people are together. And, you know, that's very much a problem, where it seems like those angry gods are actually humans around us, telling people that it's not good to mingle and be a whole, and no matter the person or anything.
I love the front of me, honey. Love the...
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's something that I think people really need to hear at all times, because truly something bad is always happening. Mm-hmm. But there are times where you just need to hear something like that, and like during Pride Month, great, yeah.
It's a simple message, but if you don't have that message, and instead you're given another message of like, don't love people, worry about yourself, is always the counter argument I guess sometimes I hear. Not really even a counter argument, it's just presented as fact. Like, you should watch out for yourself, be the main character, and get your job, rise up through the world. But that sort of mentality allows you to forget that other people around you exist, and that they matter, and that sometimes they are the reason you are who you are. And I think that whole thing of Hedwig and the relationship with Tommy very much shows of what happens when you treat someone as just a side character, and when you treat a muse as a muse instead of an artist. There's this one tweet I read today from this comedian, Hannah Michaels. She tweeted, I guess muse is just a word invented so that women don't get credit for art. And I saw that don't get credit, don't get paid. And I was like, and that's kind of the story of Hedwig, you know? Just someone who is treated as inspiration, but is actually an artist and shouldn't be brushed under the rug. You know?
Be forced to play in Applebee's.
Yeah, it sucks. It's I love the way the music's shot.
Oh my god.
But before we get to how it is shot, just want to say part of the reason why this music goal is amazing is that you see one scene of Tommy on stage, and it's just him in the spotlight, barely taking up any space, and then you see Hedwig in these corners of these restaurants and cafes and donut shops, and it's tragic that this performer, this beaming light, is stuck in corners.
Yeah.
You know, it's a crime, and you wish you could see Hedwig and the Angry Inch on the big stage that Tommy has, and it makes you experience that visually, you know, by contrasting what Tommy looks like versus what Hedwig and her performance looks like. Speaking of the performances, the way they're shot is amazing.
It's absolutely brilliant. I think when you're singing songs that have that much emotion and reflect that much on your life, you're gonna be big. Because you have to get it out. 'Cause we watched the movie Stop Making Sense like a week ago. Something we love so much is just how raw they were in their emotion, and you could see that because it's like, if you feel something that much, if you're proud of your own music that much, you're gonna be dancing to your own music, you're gonna be crying to your own lyrics.
You're gonna be shameless.
Yeah.
You're gonna fall to the floor. You're gonna sprint to your song, you know?
And the camera, somehow it reflects it so much. Like if they're being big, then the camera's moving.
Yeah.
It's fast. If the song starts slow, then the camera's still.
So it matches the emotion. And I guess this is one that's kind of obvious, you know, when there's a lyric there's a lyric in one of the songs towards the end where they say it's a montage, and it's an actual montage. And you know, some soulless critics might say it's too obvious. You can't. You're just doing what you say. But no, it's what you want to watch. We talked about this in Her Smell. Just like good filmmaking sometimes is just giving the audience what they want. And sometimes I want to see a montage while they say that they're sewn together like a montage. You know, it's obvious, but it's what you want to see, and it's perfect. It's rock and roll. You know, it's crowd pleasing. You know, it gets you, like, it makes you feel that, like, I'm sewn up too. I don't like it.
It's crowd pleasing with emotion, because it's not just for show. Like, all the words that are being said are felt, and they were forced to be felt by other people.
And you mentioned how the way she performs, the camera matches it's sort of enormity. You feel all the passion that she puts into it. And there's one line early on where one of the characters says,
Why don't you write a new song?
And you realize that she can't, because these songs are literally her life story. And the fact that they were taken from her it's so sad.
We had two versions of that song. One version. No, we had two versions. And you fucked it up.
And you mentioned Stop Making Sense, and I love, because there's one particular moment that really reminded me of Stop Making Sense. They almost make a joke of her Korean backup band. And at first I was like, I don't really want that to be just a joke. So instead of just making it a joke, she goes into her next song. And then you get the full shot of the entire band and her singing, and you see how talented they all are. In the same way, and Stop Making Sense, you see how talented and how essential everyone is to the music, and your eyes can go to whoever you want to hear. Ooh, they're making that sound. Ooh, that's what their contribution is. It's great, and it's empathetic filmmaking, and it's sort of foreshadowing what will happen in the end, which is Hedwig using her power to lift voices, not just silence people, not just turn people into jokes. And I think that's just a great little way to set that ending up.
I think the movie does start off with saying absolute power corrupts.
Absolut.
Machtlos zu sein ist besser, mein Junge.
But in truth, if you have bad intentions and you have hate inside you before you have power, and you pretend to be this good person, you put on this facade, once you get that power, it's going to come out. You're going to become a Tommy and throw everyone behind you and steal songs and do all of that.
I never knew that woman before that night, and I never knew she wasn't a woman.
But if you've experienced all this hate and you are genuinely full of love and you have good intentions, you'll do what Hedwig did and give that opportunity to others, give the power to others.
Yeah, because she almost has that moment where she does become a Tommy, and with one of her bandmates, the backup singer, she almost leaves her in the background, and she almost rejects the obvious truth that she feels this in her, and she wants to wear the wig, and she wants to be who she really is and be a rock star as well. And she almost, leaves her talent. She takes the mic from her at some points, so there's hate in her as well. But that hate, I think she learns from it, and I think that's a good thing. Absolute power doesn't, like you said, it doesn't corrupt absolutely. It just reveals if you are the type of person to be corrupted. And the reason I really love that last performance is because not only does she use her power to allow her backup singer to become who they felt they were, she also uses her power to lift these voices in rock and roll that have also been sort of pushed off to the side and considered mere muses when they were actually the weirdos that all rock fans really idolize. Like, yeah, weirdos, we're outcasts, we're out of the system. But how can you really be an outcast if you're the person that's on the spotlight? I mean, I'll admit I had them on my shirt, They're some of the people behind it, because the women that she calls out and she praises are Tina. All these people that do not get enough credit for actually leading rock and roll, and to lift their voices shows that power. It almost goes against that concept that really bummed me out the first time I heard it, that it's called the Mind of Winter, from this theorist Edward Said. I mentioned it in the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark video, where the theory is that if you are excluded and you are a marginalized person, then your reaction to being marginalized will be to marginalize others. And it considers it a cycle, is his theory, a cycle of exile. And it's really defeating when you hear that, to think that all these people that are pushed to the side, once they get the spotlight, they're going to push other people to the side. Is that really the conclusion that's going to happen? But no, this movie says no. You will feel a temptation to push people to the side, but you can overcome that. And I think that's just the message. These are simple messages, but we don't hear them enough.
And I love that at the end as well. I think you said earlier that last shot was one of the shots that you remembered. First ever remembering a shot.
Yeah.
I love that they show the tattoo and that it's finally complete. I love that so much because, yeah, she didn't technically find another person as her other half, but she was still able to complete herself and still love enough to give the wig off, to show off the band, be as lively for her audience. And she's full now. She's complete. Yeah. And that's just so beautiful. Yeah.
One more directing moment I want to bring up is there's a moment where the reason also why The Distance hurt my heart so much is because I feel like the movie was setting up that Tommy was going to be the one. Because when she first meets the sergeant, we get these close-ups, but of their mouths, and it's Hedwig eating, and it's the sergeant smiling, and it's very carnal. Those showed me that this wasn't gonna last. This wasn't the person that was gonna complete the tattoo. But when she meets Tommy, and we get a close-ups of them, we see all these parts of Tommy, and Tommy, and then all of a sudden we get a close-up of Hedwig's eye, and then it zooms out, and then I'm sort of wondering, whose body have we been looking at, And it's like through those cuts, their bodies intermingled and they became one. And that's why I thought, oh, this is going to be it. But then already that it's setting up the tragedy before it even happens, because Tommy took her music. And to see that distance, again, it hurts, because it shows that all those close-ups were a lie. Great directing, great music.
Fantastic music.
Yeah. So how would you rate this movie?
Honestly, after another watch in a year, it'd be definitely a 10 right now. It's a really high 9. Mm-hmm. Why are you in the 9? You're gonna be tipped over anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the same way I feel about Cabaret. I feel like I watch it more, but that's another time. I'm gonna get a tattoo because of this movie, so I think it has to be a 10.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. Honestly, I don't know why I said 9. I feel like I'm gonna listen to this soundtrack right now at 3:43 a.m. and then immediately rate it as a 10. So, yeah.
Good stuff. Good movie.
Watch it, please.
Yeah, HBO Max. Again, we're gonna try to keep the movies we watch that are, make sure they're on streaming services, so hopefully you have access to them.
Get a free trial.
That's 15 minutes.
15 minutes. Happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride.
Good talk.